Hello, everybody. Welcome to another reaction time. If you haven't joined us before, my name is Greg Verga, and I'm joined by Dean the Beast NJ. How are you, sir?
Hi, Greg. I'm really good. How are you today?
Of course, if you haven't seen Reaction Time, this is where we discuss all your favorite television shows and movies and trailers, and we just react to all the good stuff that you guys love us reacting to. When you see me and Dean, that means that it has something to do with a superhero, because we reacting to today, Season 1, Episode 20 of The Flash, titled The Trap. Full spoilers for this episode and for the entire CW DC Comics universe as a whole. We go through all those shows. They're all intertwined and connected, so if you haven't seen the latest of any of those shows, go watch those, come back here, and discuss these episodes with us. Of course, keep in the comments, because we do these live, and we will shout you out, just in case you have anything to say about the shows. And let's dive
anything to say about the shows.
Just in case you like to talk about the shows here, we shall be reacting to all... I don't know, I felt like a southern old man.
Yeah, you nailed it. Don't worry about it.
Nailed it. Okay, here we go. So this was my favorite. Before we start, this is my favorite episode of The Flash, and I know I say that every week, but like,
this is your favorite ever?
Ever, Dean, it's so good. It's so good.
It was really good. My favorite is still that one though.
Which one is this?
You know the one that they took back everything cool that happened, and
yeah. When they did like the
that's
whole.
Still my favorite episode when he's like. He kisses Iris, and then he's like, hold on, I'm the Flash. Gotta go. And then he runs the tidal wave around, and he's like, bah! It's so good.
I feel like that was, I like the yell. I like the Barry Allen yell. But I like this episode because it makes more sense for the way people find out. Like, it wasn't just like... Well, we'll get into it. So, I basically broke it up into the 3 separate plot lines that we had this episode. We had the flashbacks. We had, the Iris story.
Flashbacks?
We're punny. We have the Iris storyline as a whole, and then we have like the main plot line with Harrison Wells. So I say we tackle Harrison Wells, Iris, flashbacks.
You know what, man? You're the captain. I'm the skipper. I follow your lead, bro.
What was the guy's name from Gilligan's Island? Was it Captain and Skipper?
Skipper. And Gilligan.
Well.
The skipper was the big guy. He's the skipper, who is the captain. The captain and the skipper are the same thing.
The cats and the cradles and the
I believe.
Spoons.
I think that's
Little
correct.
Boy flew in the mirror on the moon.
And then Gilligan was just Gilligan. That was just his name was Gilligan.
He's the guy that's like always just messing shit up.
Yeah.
And they're like, Gilligan!
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I don't think it was like that. It wasn't like a 90s cartoon.
That is what it was like, yeah.
Okay, cool. So let us dive into... Everybody, we're reacting to Gilligan's Island, seasons 1 through 10. No, this is the Flash. So the episode starts off, and it picks up... I love that in The Flash, the episodes are picking up right where they left off last week, because every single episode, the episode ends, and you're just like... Wait, what? Like, what? And I can't fathom my own emotions and thoughts. So this picks up last episode, if you don't remember, Barry, Cisco, and Caitlin, with Caitlin finally coming on board after not trusting everybody and believing them, which never made sense. They find the secret, as Cisco calls it, the time room, where Harrison Wells keeps his reverse Flash costume, and Gideon, the all-knowing AI that's like baby Jesus. So they're in the room, and Barry starts talking to Gideon as Harrison Wells is wheeling on his slow-ass wheelchair, I must say. Like, they were in there for like a good 20 minutes, and he's just like, Cisco's like, he's coming! And he's like, I love the little, like, back and forth they show between them.
Well, he really doesn't have a need to, like, rush, because if he really wanted to catch them, he could, and he's super fast. Let's not forget.
That was my impersonation of Dean doing impersonation of Barry Allen, everybody. You're welcome.
You nailed it.
Thank you, I try. So they're all talking to Gideon, and Barry finds out that when she's answering all of his questions, he's like, oh, why are you answering me? And she's like, I'll answer any of your inquiries of Barry Allen. And he's like, why? They're like, it doesn't make sense, Gideon. And she's like, you created me, Barry Allen. And it's like, what? It gets better, though. Harrison Wells came back in time to kill the Flash, and that's why he's here. Wicka, wicka, what? Then it gets even better. Barry and Iris are married in the future. Wicka, wicka, what? And the bitch hyphenated her last name. How do we feel about that?
She did, yeah. That's a little bit greasy.
I was a little like, Iris West Allen. Let's just make it Iris Allen. But I guess, yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, I feel like you got to go all in. How'd you feel about the Gideon reveal?
The Gideon thing was cool. There was a lot of things I thought was cool. They alluded to within like the future contents, like everything that we know of the Flash to be from the comic books and like the like the DC animated films and stuff and in the cartoons, Justice League cartoons, is like all there. It's all there. This is just very much like his origin.
Yeah.
So we see that. We see the costume with the classic white logo. He's the head of the forensics unit, which he is in the comics as well. And it's cool. I love that I love that they're like, here you go, like hardcore guys who love the comic books. Yeah. This is what's coming later down the road. Exactly. I thought that was really cool.
Cisco even mentions out the white ring, and then he's like, wait, that looks so good with the Thunderbolt through the white instead of the Thunderbolt on the red. And then he's like, wait, do I only know that now because we saw this in this room? Yeah. He's like, oh my God, what's happening? I was freaking. Cisco's my favorite. So the gang all goes to Papa Joe's house, and they come up with this idea for Wells to admit, almost like a confession of sorts, into how he killed Nora Allen when he came back with Barry, because we find out that Barry that was with him, he was going back to kill Barry because Barry went back in time to try to escape him, but then inadvertently he killed Nora Allen. He didn't mean to kill Nora Allen. He was really going for baby Barry, but then Barry had to stop baby Barry from dying. Barry.
Because of Barry.
All the Barrys, yeah. So as we keep going on here, the gang works on a way to get Cisco to... It's kind of like... I think it's called lucid dreaming. Is that what they refer to it as? It's almost
I think so.
It's like a sleep state, and I googled this. This is like a real thing. It's like a sleep state that you go under, but you're still conscious and can still talk to people to tell them what you're dreaming about. And they use it for like smokers or like kids' parents that are divorced and like they're like going through some stuff and they're not normal, or like serial killers and whatnot, to find out like what's wrong with them. In this case, they're using it to try to find out if Cisco can remember all of his memories from the alternate time streamline thing. So how did you feel about their plan here? It seemed like a good idea.
It seemed like a good idea in theory, and then when it happened, it was like really alarming. Like he was terrified.
Harrison Wells is the most terrifying man in the world. And even in the lucid dream, like Cisco's like touching his face, and he's like, "What's going on, everybody? I don't know." And everyone's like, "Cisco, you good, man?" And they're like, "Listen." Barry's like, "Cisco, walk and follow Caitlin." He's like, I have a cheek and another cheek. I'm like, good. I think he's high as a kite. So we keep going here, and then Cisco goes to sleep with, I don't know what Papa Joe gives him. I think it's just like a glass of milk. But I think they like put drugs in it or something to help him sleep. Because as soon as he's like, what, am I 6? I'm not drinking a glass of milk. And then he drinks a glass of milk and he passes out. I was crying laughing. Cisco's the best. And Papa Joe, the whole time Cisco's in this lucid dream state, he's chuckling to himself. And every time they show Papa Joe, like, I just started laughing with him. And it just shows, like, how good the chemistry is between all the cast members on the show.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The one comment he makes when he, like, looks at his shirt and he's like, oh, man, I just washed this shirt. And then, like, Joe starts cracking up. Yeah. And like that was really funny. It looked like he genuinely would like burst out laughing for a second.
I wonder like how many bloopers must go on that set, because they are all hysterical people.
I don't know if he's like just a great actor and like was able to make that look authentic, or if he just actually laughed and they just went with it.
I mean, yeah, because he's known from other. We say this all the time. All the actors are known from other areas of work. And he's really
he was a Broadway actor.
Broadway, television series, movies. He's a singer. I want to see Papa Joe sing in one of these episodes. He will.
I guarantee you they work it in there. They liked it. Even Barry, they worked it in with the karaoke thing from when he was on Glee. Like they tend to not let people's talents go to waste. I feel like, you know.
For shizzle, my nizza. Never saying that again.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, there we go. So Cisco goes to sleep, and then he confronts the crazy Harrison Wells from the other timeline. He is able to tell them all that his name is Eobard Thawne, and Papa Joe has like this freak out moment where he's like, Thawne, that's like Eddie's last name. Ooh, and he's kind of now, they're all caught up to what all the viewers already know, and that's what I appreciate about this episode is we've known for forever now everything that has happened with Barry Allen, but now it's cool that Caitlin's in on it, Papa Joe's in on it, Cisco, they all know now. They can all remember that this actually happened, and Harrison Wells is the most evil of all human beings.
I also kind of like that now maybe we can all be on the same page, like as the Flash and the crew, and like maybe now like we'll be in the dark as well on things that
Which would be
they're
awesome.
in the dark about.
Yeah.
Or maybe vice versa. Like maybe they'll start knowing things about the situation that we have yet to learn.
That would be better, I feel like, because I feel like when we know, it's just almost like the show's trying to play catch up and like has all.
And you're just kind of waiting. You're just waiting for this event to take place.
Exactly. And then a serious twist of events, like as Harrison Wells is getting ready to kill him again with his like vibrating crazy hand. Caitlin's like, Cisco's gonna have a stroke and die unless we get him out of here. I thought they might have at that moment killed him again. But then he didn't.
I thought they were going to do.
And he ends up living. They pull him out of the lucid dream state. But I feel like if they had killed him in that moment, it kind of would have... Or at least put him in like a coma or something. Like it would have made the other timeline not as cheap that they pulled that away.
Well, it was essentially the exact... He would have died the same exact way as in the other timeline. Just like with a slightly different speech beforehand.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it was just a few altered lines, and I like that about this episode too. Harrison Wells seemed totally more badass, and
he did, yeah.
It was like crazy. But yeah, we'll keep on here. Wells directs Barry into saving a bunch of people from a fire in a really cool special effects scene. A lot of awesome special effects in the show, as we know. We always rave about them, but some really cool moments in just this episode. Barry has to like wave his arms around like a tornado in order to put out the fire, and he does it at first. And he's kind of like, the fire like brushes up and it gets like worse, and he's like, you're making it worse, thinking like Harrison Wells is still evil and I can never trust him. So Wells is like, no, Barry, you gotta do it quicker, I believe in you. And he's like, whoa! And all the fire excuse me, all the fire dissipates, and Barry's kind of like, they have this awkward interaction where they have this talk, and Wells is, he plays the evil that you love so well, because he Barry says it too. He's like, sometimes he's just so kind, I forget like he's a murderer. How do you feel about?
And he does that well. Oh, he crushes it. I don't remember. I feel bad. We never remember his name, but he's doing a great job on the show. And I've seen him on some other stuff that I wasn't like, not that I wasn't a fan of. I just didn't do anything memorable for me. Like I remember him from Scrubs. He was on some. He had his own sitcom for a while, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget the name. I want to say it has something to do with the name Ed.
Ed.
Yeah.
We'll look.
I don't know, but he's a good actor.
Yeah, we'll know his name for next episode, because we always say we're gonna know it, and then I always forget until we start talking about him. I'm like, I love him.
I know, me too.
But so they have that awkward interaction. Cisco engineers this trap where, if you remember the other timeline, they were trying to trap Reverse Flash into the thing, but Cisco has this idea to go into the portal, like force field thingy, and then speedsters can't get in. Barry goes to charge at him. He gets knocked back, hits his head on this like metal tray, and everyone's kind of like, oh my god. Cisco's like this badass. He's like, that's my thing. How you doing? And the plan keeps getting better and better throughout this whole episode. Like, you think up until the plan actually goes into action that it's gonna work. Spoilers, everybody. The plan goes miserably wrong. So the whole plan, like I said, the whole idea is to get Wells to confess. Wells gets to Caitlin, and she sends him down to Cisco for the whole plan to initiate. And in a very creepy lit, like, Star Labs, like, I don't know how Caitlin isn't pooping this whole time. Like, you can kind of tell like she's nervous when he rolls in on his creepy wheelchair. I hate the wheelchair. I want it to be gone, and now thank God.
I think it's gonna be gone now, right?
Thank the Lord. I feel like it has to.
Yeah.
So she sends him down to Cisco. She's like, Cisco! He's on his way! Cisco's like, shit. He's freaking out. They go down to the whole area that's going on. And Wells, in this, like, badass pose, he's just, like, chilling with his arms out on either side of the elevator. He strolls in. He's like, what up, Cisco? Yes, me. I'm Reverse Flash. And it's so much more badass this time around, because it's just, like, we already know this is going to happen. But then we find out why he's a little bit more badass. He walks up. Cisco's trying to get the confession out of him. When Cisco thinks he gets the confession, Barry and Papa Joe are hiding behind these metal canisters. Papa Joe's like, we never got the confession from him. That's not an admission of guilt. We can't use that in court. He goes after Cisco. Cisco puts on the trap to keep out the speedster. Harrison Wells is like, that's funny, Cisco, and like vibrates his whole body through the thing. I'm like, Cisco's gonna die. I'm freaking out.
He doesn't even. He just walks through it.
He's just. Oh, I thought he like vibrated through it. He literally just.
He walks through it because that was the dumb fatal flaw of their plan. Is that the speedsters don't have to go fast. They can just walk.
I didn't even
Which
realize that.
I forgot about too. Yeah, it was an easy thing to overlook, but like, yeah, he just kind of like strolls right through it.
I didn't even like until you just said this just now. Like I didn't even realize that.
That was actually a Jen catch yet again. I'm sitting there and I was like, why didn't this work? And she was like, because he just walked. He doesn't have to go fast. And I was like, damn, good catch, Jen.
Jen is clutch on these superhero shows.
Dude,
we need to
she's
get her
on
on
it.
one of these reaction times. Let's be honest. She watches the shows better than we ever could.
She's never like watching intently, but she sits and watches with me, so like she knows inadvertently what's going on with everybody.
Apparently better than we do, who are focusing on the episode. So he walks right through it. Then that's how he gets to the force field there. And when Wells heads to kill him again, Papa Joe gets out of cover, shoots 3 bullets, and another awesome special effects scene. Barry speeds after the bullets, grabs one, grabs the second one, barely misses the third, and shoots Harrison Wells. Harrison Wells drops dead to the ground. Everyone's freaking out. Caitlin takes his pulse. He's definitely dead. Until we hear Harrison Wells come over the loudspeaker, and the Harrison Wells on the floor mutates back into his original form as Hannibal Bates, the shapeshifter from last week's episode. I
didn't see it coming.
Freaking out. I was freaking out. I did not expect this. I forgot about Hannibal Bates, the creepiest serial killer name ever.
I didn't think Wells was dead, or if he was dead, I thought that would be altered in some way, because he clearly is going to be a problem for a while longer, at least.
Yeah. This is like his arch nemesis now.
So I thought something would probably happen, but I just wasn't expecting that. That was a really good twist.
It was awesome. And a nice way to use one of the crappy villain of the week characters in like a main story point. Like that was phenomenal. And after he comes over the loudspeaker, he's like, yes, this is Hannibal Bates, and yes, I'm Harrison Wells. I was one step ahead of you guys, and I'll always be one step ahead of you guys. And he says, what does he state? I wrote down the quote here. Oh, he doesn't want to kill Barry, that he still needs him. And Barry's kind of like, at first he's like, I'm not going to fight you, like, you're not my friend, but he's like, I'm not going to fight you, like, this is stupid, like, just come down here and get my dad out of jail, like, begging almost. You see him kind of break down. Until he's kind of like, no, I still need you for my plan, and we're going to face off very soon. And then Barry's like, you want to face off now? Then come down here and face me.
I loved that part, dude. And he's
good.
screaming at him. Yeah. He's like, come face me. It was so good.
So good. So Barry rushes over to the time room when Cisco tags the wheelchair in there. And when he rushes over, he finds out that Wells knew what they were up to the entire time, and that they were all, this entire episode and the entire timeline, just part of his plan. It was crazy. All of the different timelines, you saw Mason, I forget his name, Mason Highbridge, something weird like that, the reporter that he killed, that timeline is happening, and then Barry catches a glimpse of Iris in one of the things. And then he realizes that, damn, Harrison Wells, a.k.a. Eobard Thawne, a.k.a. Reverse Flash, is going to go after Iris to try to get Barry to help him. So now, that was our main storyline of the week. Let's get to the Iris storyline this week. Eddie talks to Papa Joe way back in the beginning of the episode about proposing to Iris, and I'm like, here we go. Can't have an episode without some crappy-ass drama. And I was just angry from the get-go here. Barry awkwardly, because after they find out about the Gideon room and that he's married to Iris in the future, he awkwardly kind of sways against Iris throughout all their interactions this episode, and she's like, Barry, I need to talk to you about a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I feel like I know what happened about the particle accelerator. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I love particle accelerators, and I have to go. And the whole episode, they're avoiding each other. Eddie then pulls Barry aside. He's like, listen, I'm going to marry Iris. And Barry's like, well, this is awkward, because why are you telling me I'm kind of still in love with her? Eddie's like, yeah, I know this is awkward, but, like, can you go get your kind of dad, but not real dad on board with it? And Barry's like, yeah, I guess. Like, this is just my life that I'm living.
I loved how pathetic he looks, because we already saw the future where she's married to him. And he's just like, I'm so excited, Barry. She's going to be my wife. And we're like, no, and she's not, though.
And it's like, not in the slightest, Eddie. Like, you're not a thing. Eddie gets mad at Papa Joe still, and he tells Barry everything because he sees Iris and Barry together. And then Iris texts Barry. He rushes over, and Iris says the whole particle accelerator thing. She's like, I have this theory, and it's about the metahumans, and, like, I'm pretty sure that when the particle accelerator went off, they all got their superpowers that way. And Barry's like, yeah, but Iris, you got one major plot hole. I'm not superpowered. And I'm like, Barry, this was your moment to tell her you were the Flash, and you didn't do it, and now Eddie's gonna propose. Do you feel like that should have been his pimp out moment?
Yeah, I do. But it's a little out of character.
I guess. I don't know.
So I'm not surprised that it didn't.
I just want him to be as badass as he was in the other timeline. But it's the
Yeah,
same Barry.
It would have been cool, but
Yeah.
it's just not like him to do something like that.
Truth Booth, you got me on that one. And then Eddie gets ready to propose to Iris, and now our two timelines meet up here. And when he gets ready to propose to Iris on the bridge, she's like, "My dad's calling me. I don't know what's going on." And he's like, "Yeah, but Iris, put the phone away." He's like, "I've been thinking about you for all these days, and I've been loving you for every second of every one of those days." And as soon as he takes out the ring, Reverse Flash comes over and knocks a bitch back.
Yeah.
I thought he was dead. I'm like, good.
At first, dude, I thought it was Barry running by and like swiping the ring. I was like, what?
Yeah, because when he first runs by, he just grabs the ring, and Eddie's like,
Yeah.
"Wait, what?" And all you see is the streak. So I'm like, did Barry steal the ring? Like, is he gonna propose? And then Reverse Flash comes all the way back around in like 0.2 seconds, knocks Eddie on his ass, and then he gets ready to like. It looks like he was gonna kill Iris, not take her hostage. Like he was getting ready to do the vibrating hand of death. That's what I'm calling that move.
That's his move. He loves that move.
He's like, "Oh, you think you guys are gonna live? Well."
He loves that, the dead fish move.
It's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know what that is. Wasn't that my superpower in like a past episode? I was like a dead fish.
That sounds vaguely familiar to me. Yeah.
If it's us conversating, that's usually the end of that conversation. So he goes to kill Iris. When Barry comes running by, he sees him in the distance, so he grabs Eddie and runs away. Barry gets to Iris, and now we have our third storyline this episode, the flashbacks. Papa Joe has a flashback this episode of Wells coming to him and telling him that he's Barry's only hope after he was struck by the lightning originally after the particle accelerator explosion. And Papa Joe the whole episode is kind of still living with that guilt of none of this would have happened like if I didn't give you over to Wells. But how did you feel about Papa Joe's guilt? Do you think it was warranted at all?
Not really. I think he's being a little bit too hard on himself, especially because he does so much good for everyone, and he's like he's just pure good. Yeah. He's just a good guy. He's a good cop.
Yeah.
So I cut him some slack, but I can see, sometimes you're harder on yourself than you are for others.
That's very true. That was very nice, Dean. I like that.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That was very nice. Iris has a flashback this episode next, about her talking to Barry, while he's in the coma. And she's talking to him. They have this whole moment where she's like, after her mom passed away, like Barry came into their lives, and I know it was like the worst situation possible because his mom died and his dad went to prison. That's the only reason why you're living with us. But she's like, you made us a family, Barry, and we can't be a family without you. I just love you.
Except I want to sleep with you.
Exactly. It got awkward. And then she goes to grab his hand, and a little particle electricity happens, and she gets sparked by him, and she's kind of like, wait, what? Like, that's weird. And the last flashback this episode was Harrison Wells, and he's talking over Barry while he's comatose, and he states he watched him grow up all these years. And I totally never pieced this part together, but like Harrison Wells, when he went back in time, Barry was still only 7 or 8 years old. So Wells had to be here this entire time. So he watched Barry, like he says it in the thing, I watched you at all your baseball games and all your school functions. Like, what? That's so creepy. You're a pedophile.
And he said he was like, there's never even like a flicker of him becoming the man that he will once become.
That he's going to hate. And he states how he's like, this is so ironic because the man that you are right now, I'm really fond of. And I know that you're nothing of what the man that I want to kill in the future is. So like, what happens to Barry that makes him this like crazy human being?
I don't think anything happens to Barry. I think it's more along the side. Yeah, I think it's more along the lines of, his life is dedicated to justice pretty much, especially as he gets older and wiser. And, obviously Iabadan is not so much into justice. So of course he wouldn't like Barry.
Not so much into justice. That's very true. And now we get back. Now that storyline collides with our main storyline once again. And in the Iris drama, Barry rushes over to Iris, standing back on the bridge after Eddie was taken away. And when Barry's like, First of all, how did she not know it was Barry immediately? Because he comes over and he's like vibrating his head, and he's like, Iris, I'm gonna get
Well,
Eddie
he
back.
does that to throw his voice, and so he like she can't see his face.
I hated it. I hated it so much. And
That's not the first time he's done that, though.
No, not at all. But normally he just does his like vocal cords, and he'll like stand in a dark place. So this was the first time we saw like his head like Iris. I wish that's how he spoke. He came over and he was just like Iris. And then he's like,
nailed it. That's pretty much what I hear.
Thank you. That's what I thought. And he grabs her and he's like, listen, I'm going to get Eddie back. I promise you. And as he goes to run away, she like is latched onto his hand and they have the spark again. And Iris, in that moment, there's this dramatic uprising of music and it's like, wah! And she's like, Barry, you're the Flash? And I'm like, yes. She knows, right? She knows.
Yeah. Yeah, she knows now.
Are you so happy?
Yes and no. Like, I feel like if they're gonna go the route of having the secret identity, then like just have it be secret to somebody, to anybody.
It's not secret anymore.
Not a secret ever anymore.
Well, no. The captain of the police force doesn't know.
Right. That's literally it.
Yeah. They just don't care anymore. I feel like secret identities aren't a thing. And then the episode finally concludes, and we see the little, let me just make sure I didn't miss anything here. Yeah, Barry the Spark. Wells brings Eddie back to, like, his mini lair of sorts, I guess you could call it. I don't know where they are. And he kind of tells Eddie, like, hi, I'm Eobard Thawne, and Eddie's like, Thawne's my last name, wait a minute. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm, like, part of your lineage. So I don't know if he's, like, his grandchild or, like, his child.
Yeah, it's his grandfather.
It's his grandfather, okay. So
well,
he's like,
Eddie is Eobard's grandfather.
Yes, that's what I thought. So then he's like, I'm your lineage, but from the future. And he's like, so Eddie's like, wait, so you mean to tell me that this whole time it's been about me? And he's like, no, not at all. Like, you're not important.
Yeah, he really does shut him down so fast.
He shuts him down like no other. And he's like, listen, dude, like, you're literally just the only reason why I'm alive. So he's like, go have sex with somebody so I can be born, and then I never have to see you again.
Right.
Who do you think he has intercourse with in order for Eobard to be born? It can't be Iris.
I don't think so, but
because he doesn't have like the mocha baby skin.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's meant to be implied that it's Iris, but I'm not. It could be no one. I don't know. Maybe it's someone we haven't met yet. Maybe who knows? Maybe it's Caitlin. I don't know. I have no idea.
Could be Gorilla Grodd.
Could be Gorilla Grodd. Who we're gonna see? It seems like tonight.
Yeah, it should be in this episode. Spoilers, everybody. We're recording this on Tuesday of the next week. God bless. But yeah, so that was the way the episode concluded. And then, like you said in the previews, we see Gorilla Grodd, Reverse Flash, and him are kind of working together. And we saw that way back when Wells was the one that let Gorilla Grodd out of the cage to begin with and kind of planted him in the sewers. So everything's kind of coming to fruition, and we're kind of getting all of Barry's enemies joining together in like an anti-Justice League sort of a thing. It's the League of Doom that's forming here in Central City. But overall, what do you think of the episode? I thought it was awesome. This is one of my favorites.
Oh, it was great. It was definitely up there. It's probably my favorite, right under the one I had mentioned earlier.
About the alternate pimp out moment.
Yeah, when the timeline we think happened did not happen that episode.
Yeah.
It's up there with that one. Those two are my favorite.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. What I respect about both of those episodes is that they don't stop. Like, they're just punching you in the gut repeatedly, and they don't care. And the best part about this show is that this is only season 1, and that's what I wanted to end this discussion with, is what, like, they've traversed so much content of The Flash in one season. Like, where do you, because we only have, 3 more episodes left, or 2 more episodes?
I think I don't know.
We're getting close to the finale, which we're gonna have one more crossover between Arrow and Flash.
Right.
But both worlds are like slowly coming to an end. But they've traversed so much content in season 1. How do you think this is gonna end? Do we see the end of Harrison Wells and the Reverse Flash storyline at the end of season 1?
I don't think so. I think they're gonna keep him around for a while.
Okay.
What do you think?
Why do we think that?
I don't know. I don't have like
a reason.
Yeah, there's no like logistics behind it. I just have a feeling that he's going to be the main antagonist for a while.
Well, now they're kind of shaping up Gorilla Grodd. So the only reason why I think they're bringing Harrison Wells to a close is that this was the whole arc of season 1. So now
Yeah, that could very well be. It's not
like
a bad
Gorilla Grodd
theory.
might be like 3, 5, 4, fum. I'm a giant gorilla. Here I come.
Does he say it? Is that what he says?
I'm pretty sure I quoted the episode from tonight. I saw it. Everybody, spoilers.
Really?
I've already seen tonight's episode.
Really?
I'm really close with the actress that plays Caitlin.
Are you?
Danielle Panabaker, and we're actually best
You
friends.
lying? You're a liar.
Imagine I was best friends with Danielle Panabaker. Would you hate me if
How
I
do
just
you know
told
her
you that?
name?
She was
her
from-
name.
She's from Disney Channel. I grew up with her.
But
She
we
was on all
don't
my favorite Disney Channel
know
shows.
what's his face's name.
Yeah,
I feel
he
like
was-
that's not cool.
He wasn't on Disney Channel.
He
And
wasn't, but
I had a
he's way
major
better.
crush on Danielle Panabaker when I was little.
Did you?
Like major crush. I was
You're a
obsessed
girl.
with her.
What a girl you are.
She was whatchamacallit? She played like the quirky, like nerdy girl, and that was me growing up. So I was always like, I feel like we would get married and fall in love. And then it just never happened. And she became famous, and I'm in my basement with a green screen behind me. Hashtag awkward. But everybody, that was our thoughts on The Flash. Season 1, episode 20, The Trap. Of course, I didn't see anybody really talking about the show in the comments here on the live version. Evident Hair says that he doesn't think the Reverse Flash would end in season 1, so he seems to be in your camp there. And
I think it'll end eventually. I just don't think now.
This soon. Well, the guy who plays Harrison Wells was only supposed to be on up until the halfway point before they took that like 6-week-long break, and then he signed on at that point as a series regular. So
is that confirmed? That's a fact?
Yeah, that I've like figured out. But
well, then that makes me feel like even more that they're going to keep him around.
Yeah, so like now he's like serious. But if we remember, hashtag spoilers for The Walking Dead, everybody. So mute us for 5 seconds if you haven't.
I never watched The Walking Dead.
I know, but listen. Beth, the girl that plays Beth, she was also featured in one of the Flash episodes as the girl that controlled like the robotic bees, Brie Larson. She wasn't a series regular. They signed her on as a series regular, and then she died. So like maybe.
So you think they're just trying to throw you off the trail?
Either that, or like maybe they're just making more money as a series regular. Like I don't know what the deal is.
I don't think Reverse Flash is going to die. He might disappear for a while, but I think at some point he'll be back, even if he does end this season, just because that's like, that's the Flash's Joker.
Yeah,
pretty much. Outside of like Gorilla Grodd, Reverse Flash is like his heavy hitter.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, so maybe he might like disappear for like season 2 and then come back. That would be crazy. And then at the end of season 2, he like rushes back and they're like, no, he's returned.
I would actually really like that if that happened.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
I would be okay with this. Scab wants me to tell Greg that I love him. That's me. I love you too, Scab. And he also says, I love Greg, but I want to hug Dean.
I'll take it.
Okay. Would you hug Scab?
Of course. That's not a question.
That just warmed my heart and soul. Of course, everybody, this will be archived at our YouTube channel at youtube.com/the-level-up-show, level spelled LVO, there for you all. You can also check out all of our other good content and lots of other goodies for you there. If you want to get some of your own cool swag and help us improve our shows, you can do so by donating to us at patreon.com/the-level-up-network. This time, spelled all the way out the normal way. Dean's making weird tornado noises because, spoilers, everybody, Dean's playing Bastion. You might have not known. What? Blew your mind flash style.
That's because I never stop, Craig. I don't ever stop.
And he can't stop. Ooh, and he won't stop. Ooh. That's my Miley Cyrus. And that's how we're going to end this episode.
It wasn't good.
We love you all. And always remember to level up.
Level up, level up.